The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 672. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on the show today. She is a violinist and a composer, and I'm really excited to have her on and share her story with us today on self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Sita Chay. Sita, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Hello. Yes, I am a violinist and a composer originally from Korea, and now I am based in New York. And of course, I perform everywhere in the world. And this is what I do for my life, and this is what I love doing.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Sita, what's your cultural background?
So I grew up in very academic Korean cultural background, also with some Christian religion. But yeah, I grew up in Korea until middle school, and then I was raised from high school in America, so I have both Korean and Midwest American cultural background.
Thanks for sharing that. And what'd be your favorite self-confidence quote?
For me, what brought me the most confidence in what I do or how I live my life is that doing what you love and really caring for what you love brings the truth out of what you do. It's not exactly a quote word by word, but I realized that pursuing music, that's how I embody the truth, because I care about it so much. I get to see a deep side of me. I get to learn about the universe through pursuing music. And that eventually brought self-confidence in me, because I am convinced that's what I am here to do in the world.
Thanks for sharing that great quote. And in your own words, how do you define self-confidence?
For me, self-confidence isn't just about myself presenting something to the world. It is about finding harmony in the world and actually knowing that what I am contributing has so much interrelation with the world in a way that it's not just to make myself look good or just to make myself feel good, but it's just that I care about it. And in that harmonious way, I no longer was separating myself from the world. So it was so much easier for me to have this kind of flowing confidence that's coming from the world and coming through myself. And then when something is coming from the universe, it's not that I am producing this confidence on my own. So that's what self-confidence is to me.
Thanks for sharing that. I think that's a great definition, especially talking about that flow. It's just a flow that naturally comes out and it just creates that purpose or, bigger picture. So I really like what you mentioned. And Sita, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
Well, lots of unknown, lots of trials without quite being sure. So I spent since I was 5, I wanted to become a violinist for various reasons, and until college I wasn't quite sure what I was offering as a musician was worth it or worth a while. So that's a lot of time. Over 10 years I just I was just doing what I was loving, but I wasn't quite sure if I was worth it. So I was just pursuing what I love, and I knew I was very happy about it. And as a child, I knew that I would have a headache, I would have pain, but when I'm playing music, that's the only time I forget about the pain. So it was for self-pleasure in the beginning, and later to find out that other people are also finding pleasure in listening to my music, I started to really build this confidence and this relationship with surrounding. And it was very grounding me in that way, because it was now making sense with other people and everybody was benefiting from it somehow.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think that's great that you've always known what you wanted to do. Even though you weren't sure about it, you still kept doing it. A lot of people out there, like they want to do something they love, but they don't pursue it because they're not sure if they're either worthy or not. But regardless of your doubts, you still went for it. You still kept playing music because it was something that you genuinely loved. And when you kept, just showing up and showing that love, other people found the love that you saw in yourself. And like you mentioned, it started to make sense for you, had that flow that you mentioned from before, which I think is great because not a lot of people can realize that, especially like at such a young age, right? And I think it's great that you're able to do that and pursue that. And because of your realizations that you're able to find, what's your life like now?
It's now like full of potentials. Because I'm a freelancing violinist, and I think to a lot of people, including my parents, it sounds horrifying not knowing what will happen later. But it's the opposite for me. It's like now I know I can do whatever I want to do. Even starting last year, I was like, oh, I can really realize my dream. I can produce a show that I had envisioned. So I started this Korean shaman ritual music project, Sawi, starting last year, and we're now releasing an album this year. And I have many other projects that I wanted to make into. And now that I know that it's not just coming from myself, I'm just like, the possibility is infinite, and I'm just so excited what I'm about to do this year, and then, what am I going to do next year? So it's a lot of excitement and being responsible for what I'm passionate about.
Thanks for sharing that. And I love how you mentioned you love the unknown because anything's possible. I know a lot of us, we fear the unknown, especially with our upbringing. Like you mentioned, your parents freaking out that you're doing freelancing, right? But when you see things in a different perspective, like you can see what's possible. I mean, that's when you can go out there and just do, anything that you know that you're capable of, like what you mentioned, doing all these projects, which I think is great. So congrats to that, and thanks for sharing that. And to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey to self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
I think the biggest lesson that I learned is that the most important thing is that we know already in our hearts what we need to do, what we are here to do. So to really spend time listening to your heart and really define what is giving you pleasure, meaningfulness, and drive and passion. So I for me, listening to my own heart was the biggest guidance, and that just still keeps me going even now.
Thanks for sharing those great tips. And if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, or check out some of your work, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yeah, it's just www.sitachay.com. So SITACHAY.com. And then I also have another website specifically for the shaman ritual, www.SAAWEENYC.com. And we also have Facebook pages under the same name, so you can always check out my work there.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Sita, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Sita's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else that we talked about. And I really just want to thank Sita today for taking the time to share her story and tips with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much, Sita.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. It was really great having you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Great. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com to check out cool resources, blog articles, show recaps, and so much more. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.